I've taken other leadership courses before, either here at the university or in outside organizations as well. And those particular offerings can be a little bit, they can seem disjointed. You go off to a class off-site for a few hours and you come back, but you don't necessarily have that connection back to that place where you have to learn to be a leader. And that's one of the things that I like about this particular leadership development program, is that a lot of the content was contextualized, and we were covering conversations and topics that were pertinent to UBC and our employees and our teams specifically. And I thought that was a really great way to reinforce some of these skills, is to bring us that much closer to practical application. It was really good.
Since the program, I've seen a lot of collaboration. I've seen a lot of working together, a lot of openness, because of that openness and because of the way that they're able to talk to each other, I'm seeing a lot of trust being built. We're now able to hold each other accountable because we all went through it together. We're all able to grow together, to remind each other and recognize when we're using those skills in each other.
The biggest thing that I could pass on is the need for patience. Because one thing that's very obvious as you get involved in these sessions is that we all learn in different ways, at different paces, and with different exposure to the roles and whatnot through the scenarios that we go through. And so there's some that are very quick and some that take a little more time, but at the end of the day, if we just show a little bit of patience through these sessions and use them for what they are, as you walk through the whole process, we all get there. We all get to that point where, you know, we start changing our behavior and taking on some of these tools in our day-to-day.
The things that stuck out the most for me was sort of identifying the need, first of all, and sort of the feedback piece to begin with. So interacting with fellow employees and finding out, you know, where I'm strong, where I'm not so strong, things that I could work on in a productive way.
Having everybody participate at once, regardless of whether you were a supervisor in the field or a director. We were all taking the same courses, intermingled, and it made for a great way to build, increase the trust, because there was always trust there, but you know, they weren't sure about certain things. They didn't have the confidence to move forward. Giving them the tools, having them in the same room, recognizing that we're all learning at the same pace, the same things, gave them confidence to know that they're in the game and they can be in the game.
Before, let's just say that engagement here is you tip your toes and you walk slowly and you thread lightly. Now with being more open, I see more productivity, actually, especially in myself. Because before it was like, I can't speak out that much because I might say something that may get me in trouble. And because the leadership came out, it actually made us think in a different way.
I think it has moved us a long way in creating a trusting culture. We had a fairly significant divide between managers and frontline workers, union, non-union. And this allowed us to have better alignment with our mission and our values and our objectives by creating trust in conversations. We can now point out things through proper feedback models and not get people's backs up, because we know how to address it. We know what to expect their reaction, you know, through some of the emotional intelligence training. We now can be a lot more self-aware of how we're responding in situations, and it allows a much more sort of professional, collaborative conversation to happen across the organization. And I think that's exactly the culture we're trying to develop, because if we don't have people feeling comfortable in talking about the things that are wrong or the things that are bugging them, those things go underground and they fester and pop up and manifest themselves in all kinds of crazy ways, like injuries and attendance issues and conflict and stress. And if those are preventable things, then it's something we have to continue to invest in.
Oh, the biggest impact by far is seeing it, practicing it right away. So I was able to take it straight from the classroom and take it out to work and try it with my crew, try it with my managers, and see it work. You know, it's just getting the tools to be able to communicate properly and to also think about their side and my side was something I could take with me forever.
This is a more holistic approach. It just doesn't come at it from one prong. There's 5 prongs, so to speak, and each one sort of helps the other one, deliver its intent. Specifically, the 4 previous modules really help with the change management piece. If you can harness those 4. By the time you get the change management, it certainly helps gain the buy-in to produce the change that you want.
Just last week there was a conflict. There could have been a conflict, but because of the skills that I had learned, I was able to have that difficult conversation, pick up the phone. I had all the skills necessary to talk to this person in a way that we kind of came together in understanding what the problem was and came to a solution. And it was amazing. And I hung up the phone and said, yeah, that's my leadership training right there. It was just last week.